Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm here with another video review. The game that I am reviewing today is a game called Secrets of the Lost Tomb. And as you can probably guess from the cover of the game and also from the name, this is not a soulless cube-pushing Euro. Not that those aren't fun, I do enjoy those games a lot. This right here is a very Ameritrashy thematic game experience. Something that, truth be told, it is the type of game that got me into this hobby, this designer board game hobby. Games like Arkham Horror and Talisman were the things that opened the door, if you will, and got me excited and interested in this thing that I do. Secrets of the Lost Tomb is a game that is currently in Kickstarter. It has met its funding of several thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, and they are currently working on hitting some stretch goals. They have well over 2 weeks left, and so this video is to kind of present the game to you, to show you how the game is played, what you can expect from a game experience. And this is like one of the cool things. It's the name of the company that is publishing is called Everything Epic Games, or Everything Epic, or something like that. And they're grabbing onto the whole. This is not so much a game as it is like a game that kind of tells a story. And even down here it says an Everything Epic Games experience. I mean, it's just like they're even pushing the game to be just that. You know, not so much like a game, but like something that you kind of live and breathe as you play. And that may seem kind of weird, but if you're somebody like me that's played lots of games, if you watched my Eldritch Horror video fairly recently, things like that. The games that you kind of... There's enough immersion that allows you to kind of slip into the game, and like it kind of tells you a story and you start acting things out and stuff like that. And I'll talk about that when I do my conclusion. But the designers definitely are grab that with both hands, and they're really trying to propel this game into that realm, if you will. So as always, I'm going to show you how to play the game. This is one of those games that has tons of little rules and tons of little things going on. So I'm going to try to get through all of them. Please bear with me as far as the length goes of the rules overview, but I'll try to shorten that down as much as I can. And then, like I said, we'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think of the game, and we'll go from there. As far as hopefully somewhere along the line, you'll see something that intrigues you, and you'll go to the Kickstarter page and thunk down some of your hard-earned cash. So once the game is published, you'll be able to get your very own game as well. So, Secrets of the Lost Tomb. How to play. It's heavy. This is pretty much all the components that you get with Secrets of the Lost Tomb. Or at least these are all the components that you get in the prototype version that I have of the game. So that being said, since I'm dealing with a prototype, whereas the art and what you see in front of you may very well end up being what the Kickstarter looks like, just keep that in mind, because I don't think anything is like set in the stone. But this is a pretty high level prototype, and I actually do like the look of the art and the feel and what have you. So anyway, this game is about, thematically, there is this lost tomb that every 113 years, I think the background says, appears in like the middle of the ocean in this uncharted island. And everybody that's the characters that you're playing are part of this secret society that goes to this lost tomb, and they have to prevent the end of the world in some way, shape, or form. And depending on the scenario that you pick, it's different. And then I know, like, the base game is going to come with like 4 or 6 different scenarios, and now they're adding more and more and more with the Kickstarter stretch goals and stuff like that. But anyway, so the basic one that comes with the game that I got is here: The Pharaoh with the Blue Eyes, The Return of Ra's al Ghul. And this is the piece of paper that you get. There's the background story up here. I think they're going to change this up a little bit. It's a little tough to read, so I do know that they're actually altering the art and everything like that, so that's easier to read when the game comes out. But the whole purpose of this is it tells you exactly how you're going to play the game, how it starts off. One of the big thing is that it says it sets the comet track, and the comet track is an 8. What that means is that this is the comet track, and as you draw tomb cards, and you do that after everybody takes their turns, you start this off at nothing, and then it'll tell you either to add or stay the same or minus. And if you ever get to 8 on the comet track, what happens is, in this particular case, and other scenarios will be different, but in this particular case, the mummy, the pharaoh, comes to life, and so then you'll put this guy on the board, and he'll start trying to escape the tomb. And if he escapes, he wins, because he gets to go off and destroy the world or whatever. And but if you're able to kill him, that's how you win the game. And so there's Ra's al Ghul. But anyway, so it has these objectives over here, and I'll explain those in just a second. But on the back, you can see there's this like weird flame on the side, and now you can see there's more objectives. There's more things you have to do, and this is the more difficult version of the game. Okay, so we're not gonna touch on that. We're just gonna kind of focus on this right now. So what you have to do is you have to complete the objectives, and that means you have to find the Staff of Ra, then you find the Cowl of Anubis, and then you find the Ruby Scarab. And then you have to find a specific room that is in this tile of rooms right here, and I'll explain that as well. But you find the Sun Room of Amun-Ra, and it's a room that you'll locate. And once you locate the room, and you have all 3 people have to show up, and they will have the different artifacts, and then they can summon the pharaoh before the comet track, and then you get to fight him once again. Now you might be saying, well, if you have to fight him anyway, what difference does it make? Why even follow the objectives? Well, the artifacts that you get are actually super powerful and super important. So if you have all of them and you're able to equip yourself for defeating the Ra's al Ghul is much, much easier. Anyway, so you're wondering what the objectives, how that works. There is an objectives deck, and this objectives are drawn randomly, and they are placed on those locations, and so they're picked. The objectives themselves have a an easy like an easy side and a hard side. So you can see it's once again the flames, and so it's hard objective. So in comparison, search 3 rooms on level 2. Okay, and the other one, search 2 rooms on level 1. Search 2 rooms on level 2. Search 1 room on level 3. So you can see where this is more difficult, and that's not just one character. That's like everybody. So obviously more investigators makes it easier. And then you have these tokens here with the numbers on them, and you can place those on these objectives to show as you're completing them step by step, so you can see how close you are, and you can keep track of them that way. This is a game that's going to have a ton of little cardboard chits and fiddliness and stuff like that. So, like I said, if you aren't a fan of Ameritrash games, I don't know why you're watching this, because I kind of set it up like that. But I love that. I love all the little bits and stuff and moving around and whatever. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so to make the game differently, you just kind of close your eyes and shuffle them up or whatever, and you pick 3 of these. And I'm just grabbing them at random here. And I'm not playing like the hard version of the game. I'm just going to play the normal one. So, destroy 2 elite monsters. That's the first one. Find 5 items. That's the second one. And then the last one here is explore 5 new rooms. And so, we go ahead and place those on there, and then we'll set this aside, and and just as we process the different objectives and try to defeat the game, we'll add those tokens or whatever to it as we went. Now you have to pick characters, and of course any game worth its salt has awesome characters that you can play, and each one has their own little backstory and their own little abilities, and they're kind of pretty much all the same, but they're different enough to make it interesting. So I'm just going to grab a couple here. I actually took a couple real quick, and I'm just going to play with 2 at this point. And so I'm going to take this James T. Temple, the wildlife filmmaker. It tells you what they get right away at the beginning. Like, he gets an M1 carbine rifle, so you'll dig through your items deck, which is right there, and you'll dig through and find that, and chemical repellent. And then you get certain abilities, like here, ready aim. When doing combat, you may spend an additional action to get +3 to any one combat roll. You get several actions during a turn, so like you'd out, and then lens cap. Lens cap. Look at the top 5 room tiles and place them back in any order. Then gain +2 audacity, and that's one of your abilities. Right there. This is your audacity score. I'll explain that also in just a moment. Then on the back of each one of these characters, it kind of gives a little background, little blurb, if you will, and then everybody's got a personal mission. And so if you can complete these personal missions, you can get you get +1 action, +2 to 2 different attributes of choice, replenish a destiny started. So it's always in your best interest to try to complete those personal missions so you can make things better. Now here's the cool thing, as far as, obviously here's your skills, and those are the number of dice you're getting to roll. As the game progresses, you might earn more skills. Like if you earned more knowledge, you get one of these little chits. You just kind of put that over there, and so you have a +1 to that, to your basic score. Also, you can see that there's these 2 dials. One's this obviously a gun, and you can see there's a red number 13. It's a little off center, but you can kind of see that. And that's his starting health. And then this track is your courage track. And as things happen, you're going to lose your courage as you're playing. And you start your courage off on wherever this arrow is. And if you notice, as courage increases, and this might be a little difficult to see, but there's a little die there. So if you can get your courage up, you get bonus dice whenever you roll. So, it's always in your best interest if you can get your courage up. It helps that. Now, notice as your courage goes down, you will actually then start losing dice on rolls. Now, it's important to note your courage can't ever go higher than 10, and it can never go lower than -10. The reason why is because you can see that flee. If your courage ever gets down to -10, your character immediately starts trying to flee the tomb. And they move their fastest speed towards the exit. And if they make it out, then it's just like being killed. They're out of the game, and the player needs to get a new character. Same deal as if your health ever goes all the way to past 1, you are dead, and you need to get a new character. You can never heal higher than your max hit points unless something happens in the game to increase your max hit points. Pretty standard, right? All right. So there's your movement. That's how many spaces you can move in a turn. 5. Your audacity, you get that's 6. Audacity is tracked. It's unlike your other stats, which are pretty much stay the same. Audacity is you keep track of it with these chits. And these chits are spent. If you've played Arkham Horror, you'll know that you spend clue tokens to do things. Audacity's kind of like that. You can spend Audacity to re-roll tests and things like that. But Audacity also, just as a skill, you will be asked to test Audacity a lot. And you don't test your base unless you happen to have 6. You test your current Audacity. So as you spend it, you won't be able to do certain abilities as well. And one of the abilities that you can do is after you kill a monster, you actually roll against your Audacity, and you roll as many dice, and if you get a 6, you find an item on the monster's corpse. So it's always nice to have a higher Audacity. So, just so you can see, I also picked Walt Disney here. He's going to be helping out. I'm kidding. It's like Mickey Iron Man. But it's Walt Disney. He's even holding a weird Mickey Mouse. It looks like he's holding on to a little Oscar trophy or something, doesn't it? Anyway, so you can see, he starts with a 38 Detective Special in Rum. He's a boxing champ and private investigator. Different abilities. His courage is obviously there. His health also starts on 13. And, there's his story. And defeat 4 monsters with melee, hand-to-hand, or melee weapons. Upon completion, he gets all these bonuses and whatever. So, anyway. So, we have our 2 dudes. They're going to go into the Lost Tomb. You put them in this entryway. Now, this might be a little hard to see, and I apologize. I'm not going to zoom in. I can maybe zoom in just a little bit. I hate zooming whenever I do this stuff. I'm going to have to zoom out in a second. But if you see, this is how you set it up. This is like the entrance. This is like a passageway. Here's the stairs. The stairs go down to level 2. And here you can see it kind of goes down to level 3, but you can see on this tile that the stairs are broken, so you can't get down. So you're going to have to find another way to level 3, and there's certain tiles that will either get you there, like pit traps or things like that, or you'll find a tile that has like a mine shaft that you can use a rope to climb down. You'll also see on these tiles, you'll see these little tokens right there. That means that's an exit in it, like where you can put a another room. And so, like, you know, as far as exits and entrances. So when you draw tiles out of this deck, you'll be placing them in the place that you go, and then you'll fit that as best as possible, matching up the entrances and exits, so it makes sense. So, depending on the character, you'll have a certain number of actions. Most of them have 2. You will get 2 of these tokens. These are action tokens, and then when you take an action, you flip one over like that, and then you flip it other, and then that means you're done with your action. Later on in the game, if you improve your character enough, you'll get more actions, and that's obviously never a bad thing. And so, so what happens is, in the player's turns, what they'll do is they'll take an action, the person to their left goes, they take an action, so on and so forth. Gets back to the first person, they take their second action, so on and so forth. And then if anybody has more actions than 2, then they take those. You skip the people that don't have any more actions. But there's several different things you can do as an action. You can use items as an action. You can attack a monster that's in your spot as an action. You can move as an action. You can trade items with somebody that's in the exact same spot as you as an action. You can search a room as an action. I mean, and there's lots of different things that you can do. One of the things you can also do is you can attempt to calm down. If your courage is really low, you can attempt to calm down and take a test. And then if you can calm down, then you gain some of your courage back, which is something. And you can also do that to somebody else who's in the same room. So if somebody's actually running away because they got scared and their courage went too low, you can catch up to them, and then you can calm them down, and then you can get them to stop running away, and then you can maybe help them. They can stay inside the tomb, because it should be noted that if anybody ever runs out of the tomb, or if anybody ever dies, you will automatically increase the comet track. So it's actually, so obviously you don't want to just let somebody run away. You want to stop them, and you don't want to let anybody die either. Because you don't want the comet track to raise too high. But anyway, so what you're most likely going to be doing in most of your turns is you're just going to be going into rooms. See, like there's a thing right there, and that person's turn they go. And so you have this giant stack of rooms, and you notice that they have a specification. This is level 2 and level 3. So because you can't pick the top one and see what it is, you draw it off the bottom and you look. Well, it's level 2 and level 3. I'm on level 1, so I can't use that one. So we'll go ahead and we'll draw again. Oh, there's a level 3. I can't use that one. So we'll draw again. Man, I'm just not getting any luck here. Level 3. Level 3. Level 1 or level 2. Okay, so finally, we got a level 1 or level 2. And so you flip this over, and you look and see what it says. And it's a pitfall, as luck would have it. And up here you can see there's a rope icon, meaning the rope can be used in this room to, go up and down. You can see right here, pass, move to the 3rd level, fail, move to the 3rd level, but lose 2 hit points. And this binocular says you need to actually roll an action on there. And this skull and crossbones says when you encounter the room, it's going to be a misadventure instead of an adventure. And I'll explain that in just a moment. So, in any case, Walt Disney here moved into the room with the pitfall. And it says that we have to roll dexterity, because that hand right there is the same as this hand here. And so he's got a 2, which is very good. So we're going to roll 2 dice, and we're going to hope we get a 5 or a 6, because those are successes. And I did. I got a 5. So, I can, if I want, move to the 3rd level and go all the way down to the bottom. And then what'll happen then, if I did that, I'd have to like mark the room with a marker that shows like where this one goes to that, and so on and so forth, so you can climb back up. But I don't have any rope to set up like a safe way to go up and down. I could go down there, but I don't have a way to get back up now because of the fact that I don't have the rope. So I'm not going to do that right away. So I'm just going to go in the room, and now I'm going to have my adventure in the room. And this deck has the adventures and misadventures. And so you always read the scroll text that's here. But if it's like an adventure, you'd use the green. If it's a misadventure, you use the back. So here, we know it's a skull and crossbones, so we're going to go here. Out of a small hole in the floor floats a black globe with prismatic colors shooting out everywhere. One beam hits you with a powerful force. And then this is roll, and that's strength. And that's good, because Mickey's got a high strength. He's got 5 there. So we're going to go ahead. I'm sorry, Walt Disney has a high strength. And so we're going to go ahead. We just need 1 success. This shouldn't be too tough. Just 1, 5, or 6. There we go. 1, 5. So I passed. So, I passed. So we flip the card over. And on the back it says, pass. You are able to withstand the power of the orb. It soundlessly lowers back into the ground. Fail, the beam, if I had failed, seems to have a weird effect and you feel strange. I would have lost an audacity. You can see the little icon there. Now, the interesting thing, and I think that's cool about this game, is that you don't get anything. With the misadventure, if you succeed, you rarely, if ever, get anything for doing it. Usually, it's just nothing bad happens to you. And with adventures, see, like if it had been an adventure, pass, you stand tall, embrace yourself. Anyone weaker would have been injured. You somehow feel invigorated. I would have gotten a bonus strength if it had been an adventure. And if I failed, you tend to stand tall against the light and you're staggered. It's too strong for you. Don't lose anything. So it's kind of like you can see the how those two, the adventures and misadventures, are slightly different or whatever as far as their effects. And I like that aspect of the game. So there we go. I moved into that room. You'll notice that this room has a yellowish background around the side. That's important to remember because I'm going to be searching the room in here in just a second. And so let's just keep that in mind. Now, you might actually say, wow, this isn't a lot of room. You're going to need a bigger table than what I have right here to play the game, just because this tomb is going to really start taking shape and going in this way and that way and go in a lot of different directions. So we'll go with our photographer, and he has a move of 5. And so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and get to the second level. Let's go to the second level. Let's see what we can find. And he's going to go there. So I reach once again, and I try to, actually, technically, I would have drawn that one and seen it's level 3, so it doesn't valid. We'll draw another one. Here we go. This one would be good for level 1, 2, or 3. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll flip it over. And here we have the Vault of War. And this compass over here means I get an adventure in the room. The compass is good, skull and crossbones bad. This one says I roll knowledge, and if I pass, I get +2 items. Well, that's pretty cool. Let's see if I can get a good knowledge roll here. And James Temple, we look, he has knowledge of 3. So I just need 1, 5, or 6 on 3 dice. So let's roll. Dang it. Well, I got a 1, 2, and a 2. Well, that's 5 total, right? No, it doesn't work like that. Well, I'm going to be... I want some items. So I'm going to spend an Audacity token. I would throw an Audacity token in the pile over there. And I'm going to roll again. Come on, 5 or 6. 2, 4, 4. Let's spend one more Audacity token, because I'm not going to finish this game anyway. And, well, you know what? I'm going to cheat. Bam, I just want to show you some items. So there. Yay, I completed the vault. I shouldn't, but... And you'll notice this one is an interesting room because, look, it only has 1 entry. So you'll go ahead and you'll put that like that. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw those 2 items that I earned. Now, the interesting thing about items is that you can literally have as many as you want. There's no limit to the many, but you can only use so many. So... Look, so we got a holy water. Looks like obviously it does triple damage in combat to undead. And rope. Well, awesome. Now we can go down over there, and you can see rope does all that, and you're able to use it for that particular location. So that's pretty good then. All right, so those are the first two actions, because you automatically like explore the room. You don't have to spend an action to do it; it just happens. But now we're gonna search the room and see if we can find something. Now, it's a yellow backed room. You might be saying, what does that mean? Well, depending on the color of the room determines how much you can search it. Green rooms can be searched 3 times. Yellow rooms can be searched twice, and red rooms can be searched once. So since this is a yellow room, to show that it's been searched once, we're going to take this magnifying glass and we're going to turn it over and place that in there, meaning that it can be searched one more time. And then after you search it, you draw this card, and it tells you what happens. And so it's a skull and crossbones, and what that tells me is that I have a misadventure again in this room. And you'll notice that, like the other things, if it had been a green room, you would have had an adventure, misadventure, misadventure. And so you can see, obviously, like green rooms are easy and at first, but as you keep searching, you're kind of pushing your luck. But the reason why you keep searching is down here, you start getting things like artifacts and stuff. So that's why you keep searching in those rooms. But anyway, so we're going to have another misadventure. We're going to go ahead and look at this. A cool breeze reaches you as you enter. The overwhelming odor of decay assaults your nostrils as you move toward the freeze's source. Behind a loose stone on the wall, you find, and you roll strength again. So Walt Disney has, as we said, a 5 strength. So let's see if we can get 1 success. And I don't. I fail. So let's go ahead and see what the misadventure says as we fail. Fail. You move the stone to the side, releasing ancient toxic gas into the room. You vomit right away. Ugh, I've been poisoned. This is cool, though. I can show you this. So these are the status cards, and you just take these as they happen to you. And here's poisoned. And what poison does is that during the upkeep phase, I have to keep swiveling this. For 3 rounds, I'm going to lose 1 hit point a round. That's rough, Walt. Sorry, Mr. Disney. That's what's going to happen. But as luck would have it, I can show you this as well. Notice how I have a secret quest. If it's a secret quest, if I defeat 1 monster, and you get these, and you get to keep this card. If you defeat 1 monster and you search 2 red rooms, you gain +1 strength. So that's pretty cool, right? Walt can get more strength and not roll a 5, just like he did for me. But you get to keep this, and then you just use markers to track how far along you do it, and you can eventually turn that in as soon as you've completed your secret quest. And those act interdependently independently than the one that's already on the back of your card. So we've gone ahead and searched that. We're going to have him search as well, so we're going to go ahead and place that particular token on there. We draw this, and it's like, you trigger a magic warding rune. If you roll, and we're going to be testing faith, and Mr. Temple only has a 2 faith. See right there. So but if I pass, I'll get an item. But if I fail, I think that's knocked out or mesmerized. I'll have to look and see what the things. So 2 dice, 5 or 6. A 1 and a 3, that's not going to do me any good. So, unfortunately, we're going to go ahead and find the icon that matches that. Yeah, it's just right here. It's stunned. And so next round I'm going to have -1 action, and then I get to discard it. Well, that stinks. Losing actions in games like this is like one of the worst things possible. But there you go. That takes care of all the actions. Now we'll go into the tomb phase, and then these are the tomb cards. And you'll draw one of these, and it'll tell you something. And it says, the eerie silence. So first thing you do is you activate monsters. These look like wings with their eyes. Every time I saw this, I was like, why are there angel wings? But then I realized those are monsters. But anyway, so you activate monsters, they move, and will have combat with anybody that they're in the same room as. Well, we don't have any monsters out, and I'm going to show you combat here in just a second, just so you can see how it works. But you don't have any combat. So the next thing, it tells you where to spawn monsters. And it'll spawn, level 1 spawns 1 normal monster, and level 2, 1 normal monster. And this is epic monsters over here, like super powerful monsters, but those aren't on there. So there's a tomb effect that'll take effect this round, and it says no items can be traded this round. So if we were in the same spot together, we couldn't trade anything back and forth. But no big deal so far anyway. And then comic track is +1. So we're going to get out the comic track, and we're going to add, was it 0? And so now we're going to put that to 1. So we're 1/8 of the way until Raz-Azul will show up. But so there you go. That is how that is processed. And then like, because this has an effect, we keep this out until the next tomb effect happens. So I that's a real brief overview of everything that you're doing and running around and everything like that. But that's what this game is. It's exploring the, like, for lack of a better term, a dungeon, fighting monsters, fighting traps, having weird encounters, and trying to, like, improve your character through getting more skills, more weapons, more items, and things like that. And so you can prepare yourself for the final battle that you're going to be having, and also trying to achieve those objectives that were put in place for us. Now, I wanted to show you a combat. So, like, I'm just going to show you an elite monster and a normal monster, just so you can kind of see the difference. Like, you can see this is a giant snake. It says Quest Anaconda, and then there's these different things. This first number up on top is the courage hit you take immediately when you're getting ready to fight it. I'm going to fight this. You lose 2 courage just because it's just scary. The second number is their combat value, and that's a 2. The third number is their armor. So what that means is that they have 2 armor. They can suck up 2 normal hits, not critical hits, but normal hits. Hit points are, obviously how many hit points it takes for they are until you kill them, and then you can see that they have a like a movement rating of 2 down here, and then this bottom stat, you can see there's several little dudes here. I'll show you that closer. You can see that there are several like little people there in a line. I'm sorry, that's actually the movement. I apologize. This is the evade score. I made a mistake there. This is the number that you need to roll if you decide you're going to try to evade the monster and just get past it without fighting it. That you'd have to get 2 successes to do that. So sorry about that. Now here is a elite creature. This is a dragon golem. You notice the courage hit is -4. The combat rating is 6, and has 1 armor, 9 hit points. The evade is 3, and the movement is 4. Now you'll notice that on both of these there is this little special thing here. Scorched for -4 hit points, or when defeated, you get +1 treasure. Well, in this case, this is something good. You defeat it, you're going to get an item for killing it. Apparently the anaconda ate something or whatever, and you get to open it up and find it. However, this is a bad thing that happens. I mean, an extra -4 hit points because it's breathing fire on you. And that's if you don't actually meet its challenge rating in the number of dice that you roll, and you rolled a 1 on one of your dice, meaning that you had a critical failure, and then that extra hit will happen. So let's say I had 6 dice. Well, let's just give me tons of dice. Like I've got a weapon, I've got a high strength, and I'm going to fight that, and I roll all these dice. And I'm looking for 5s and 6s to succeed. Well, this is a perfect example. I have 5 successes, 3 6s, which means those are critical hits. I mean, those bypass armor, but I have a 1 for my damage there. And what'll happen in this situation is the 3 critical hits are going to do 3 points of damage to it. Nothing he can do with that. The 2 5s, one of them is takes care of the first armor, but then the other one does another. So I'm going to do 4 points of damage to it, taking it down to 5 hit points. And you can show the damage by these little tokens. So there's a -1 and a -3, and so you put that on the thing. But I didn't equal 6 successes to the challenge, the combat rating of the creature, meaning that one, I'm going to take 1 point of damage because I didn't equal it. Because you just deduct that, and that's the amount of damage due. But two, I rolled a 1, meaning I got a critical failure. Meaning that I take another -4 points of damage. So if Mickey, if Walt Disney, or Walt Iron Man Disney here was fighting him, he would take 5 points of damage. And he'd go from 13 down to 8. And he'd have to start thinking carefully about, whether or not he thinks he could defeat him in the next round. Now, on your turn, and you put these monsters on the board using these little stands, which is kind of cool. And so that monster would be right there. You monsters on the board, you can choose to attack them if you're in the same spot as they are, or you can if they're in the same room as you and they're activated, they'll attack you automatically. The other thing, that if you defeat the monster and you took a courage hit, and you don't take that courage hit every single round, you just take it the very first time you see it. But if you defeat the monster, you get half of that courage back. So since that one was -4, I would take a hit of 4 on this, like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I killed him, I get 2 back. So you can see, like, you can, and courage and other things will fluctuate left and right all the time during the game through the different encounters that you have and what have you. Once you defeat the creature, at that point you roll whatever your complete audacity is. And if you get it, so like Walt has 4 audacity, we'd roll, and if you get a 6, and I did get a 6, you get an item, because like you search the body and you got lucky and you found an item. And so, here he got a magical panacea drink that can heal hit points and statuses that were on. So that'd be pretty cool. If you had that poison still, you could drink that and get rid of it. The only other thing about combat that you really need to be aware of is that if you have a ranged weapon, you can shoot at monsters in the other room, and have you can kill it. You can't get your courage back if you kill them that way, but that way you can actually fight them without having to worry about the monsters being able to attack back or do any damage to you. If 2 people are in the same room as a monster and one of them chooses to attack, the other one gives a bonus die to the person doing the attack, because they're obviously helping fight the monster or distracting it or whatever. And I just wanted to show you a weapon here. Let me just see if I can find, like, here we go. Like, here's a Nitro Express rifle. And so you can see, like, it'll tell you it's like, has 2 shots of ammo. And this is a gun that, like, you can, obviously, like, once it's empty, you're discarded. And so you actually are moving the card like so. However, some weapons, like this, the Thompson submachine gun, like it has this, it gives you +4 dice in combat, and 4s are also counted as successes. Obviously, that's really cool. But during the upkeep phase, once you shoot it, you turn the card to the side, and during the upkeep phase, which happens at the end of the tomb phase, you roll for everything that you have to, and then you see on 1 or 2, you discard the card, meaning you've run out of ammo for it, or it's jammed, or it's broken. And that's how those weapons may work. You'll be able to find armor, like, it's like that'll give you a bonus to so you won't take as much damage. And then of course you can find melee weapons too, like this sword cane, and so it has different abilities. But you can help during melee combat. And notice how the weapons have like 1 hand or 2 hand. You can wield 2 one-handed melee weapons or 2 one-handed ranged weapons. That's just the option you have. So. But there you go. I mean, I've pretty much shown you everything that this game has, but I mean, I haven't shown as far as the rules and just the basics, but I haven't really shown you everything that the game does as far as like the cool encounters and the excitement and the team play and everything like that. But I'll talk more about all those things in the conclusion, and I'll do that right now. All right, so there you go. That's how you play Secrets of the Lost Tomb. All right, so obviously the game is a cooperative game. It is, it's definitely. Lately, I've seen a trend for cooperative games that really kind of show like this is your role. You know, this is what you can do. This is what you're good at. Pandemic does that. You know, other games, I can't think of the name right now. Like Police Quest, I think it was called, and the I'm horrible at remembering names of games unless I can see them. So like there's a big giant thing of games back there, but of course I don't see it. No, like the one about with firefighters, Flashpoint. You know, like things like that. You kind of get a specific role or something that's that you're good at, if you will, and I've always felt that like while I like that because then each person has a job. Like Sentinels of the Multiverse, perfect example. One of my favorite co-op games ever. I mean, each person gets a role in what they're good at. But I do kind of like playing a co-op game where I'm not ramrodded into like, well, this is the only thing you're good at. You're going to be the one that fights the monsters. You're going to be the one that searches the rooms. And you're going to be the one that casts the spells. Okay, let's do this. And I don't like that. And it's just because then it's like, what if I don't want to be the guy that just, kills monsters? What if I want to go and see if I can find the ancient object of incredible evil or whatever? Things like that. And so this game, like, yeah, I mean, each character kind of has like their own little special ability and the way they can break the rules. But, for the most part, because they have to be able to. I mean, if you had like a bad character that couldn't fight monsters, this game would chew you up pretty quickly. But for the most part, everybody can kind of stand on their own. And so, unlike a lot of other different co-op games where everybody kind of sticks together and goes about and make sure that that they protect one another and so on, so forth. This every single time I played this game, it's kind of like everybody just kind of drops in and then just takes off, and goes and does their own thing, and which is good though because a lot of times those objectives they have to be achieved in like fairly quickly, and you have to be able to get them done by covering a lot of ground. And so if you're all stuck together, you're not really doing that. But if everybody kind of breaks off and does their own thing, that's pretty much the only way you can pull it off. One of the things, like if you played a lot of other games like Arkham Horror or even like the new Eldritch Horror that just came out or Betrayal on House of the Hill, you're gonna see a lot of the mechanics and the processes of that game adopted by this game. I mean, specifically Betrayal on the House of the Hill. I mean, that game inspired this process of the tiles and laying out the tiles and having those available to you. And I did a review of Betrayal House of the Hill quite a while ago, actually, and I kind of poo-pooed on the game because of the fact that game just didn't really inspire me at all. You kind of walked in this haunted house and just kind of stumbled around knocking crap off the walls and what have you. And you didn't have a goal, really. You didn't have any idea of what was going on, and then no real objective until finally, like, the game kind of said, and boo, here's the haunt, or here's the process that you're going to have to solve and take care of. And it was kind of always like, well, I hope I got lucky enough to be ready for that. I didn't? Well, I lose the game. And so, that's why I didn't like it. But this game actually has a very, very straightforward objectives. Then you put those objective cards on the scenario. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. You know exactly how much time you have left. You know exactly what's going to happen and what you need to worry about as far as what you need to be ready to be able to handle. Especially with the big bad Pharaoh that comes out and wants to tear you apart. And so I guess what I liked about the game very much is that, well, I mean, it reminded me of the other games where there's like kind of like the big unspeakable horror, like gonna be attacking or what have you. But what I liked about the game was that it didn't pull any punches and it was very direct. It was very there was never any like slow build up, if you will. You hit the ground running and you're gone. And a game like this kind of lives or dies on the experiences that you have while you play the game. And you kind of have to accept the fact that the theme of the game, or the premise of the game, is that you're on this fantastical island in the middle of nowhere that has this fantastic weird tomb that betrays both time and space, and that's why you're running into all these crazy places inside of it, and that don't really make sense. That's why you're running into all these crazy creatures from all walks of life, if you will. And so you kind of just have to let yourself go and recognize the fact that this is just like almost like a Twilight Zone episode, if you will, like anything goes kind of thing, and just then focus on the task on hand. And it's a game that, like, you if you were hitchhiking and a van pulled up and you jumped in the van, and as you reach to buckle yourself in, you look over and there's no driver, but somebody's taped a 20-pound brick to the accelerator, and all of a sudden you're just flying forward. That's kind of what this game is like. I mean, it's just like, and you're reaching over trying to drive it and you can't reach the brake, or and it's just and it doesn't let up. I mean, it's just like, because every round something's happening. You got monsters chasing you down. You got crazy traps in the rooms that you're running into, and you're running into crazy little encounters in every room that you go into. You're running, you're searching stuff, and you're getting you're getting poisoned, you're getting wounded, you're getting knocked out, and you have all these things happening to you, and never anything really good, mind you. And then it's like, top it all off, you have this like doomsday clock slowly ticking forward that you can't really stop and do anything to. And before, like, some even worse big baddie shows up and proceeds to, like, race out of the tomb, and you're trying to, racing forward and trying to stop it and fight it, and it's beating the heck out of your players. And so it's kind of one of those, like, weird roller coaster ride games where, like, something bad keeps happening over and over again, and you just gotta keep fighting it and keep fighting it and keep fighting it, and hopefully with some few lucky die rolls and a few chance encounters, and maybe with just a little bit of luck and putting yourself in the right place at the right time with the right piece of equipment, or the going through finding just the right room or what have you, you can somehow pull off that victory and win the game. And I if you've watched my reviews, I've said that, like, if a co-op game doesn't beat me the first time I play it, I get upset with it, because it's just like, I don't know the rules, I don't know how this game is played, I don't know the good strategies, I don't know anything. You should beat me. I'm behind the 8 ball before I even roll a single die, or before I even take a single action. And luckily, this game kicked my butt, and I was eventually able to beat it with my buddies. I was playing solo games. I played 2 solo games, and the game just was kicking my butt left and right. And I finally was able to beat it just the other night when I had my gaming group over, and we had 4 of us, and we played, and I think having, like, the different minds there, and the different people and the different ideas actually allowed us to pull off the win there. So I have beaten the game. I took down the Pharaoh Ra's al Ghul. I haven't played him on the tough level. I think he kicked my butt again there too. So it passes that Undead Viking co-op test. Did the game beat me the first time I played it? Yes. It put its boot on my throat and didn't let up, and I had no shot to save my life. So there you go. So to sum up, what do I think of the game? The game's a hell of a lot of fun. It's exactly what I expected it to be. I expected it to be a very thematic co-op experience, along the lines of Arkham Horror, along the lines of Elder Sign, along that type of game. It drips with theme. It drips with atmosphere, and and it's very tense, but very funny too, because it's one of those games where, like, it's like when people are rolling the dice and you're like, come on, you just need to get 1 success, let's do this, and they, like, all 3s, and oh, I didn't get 1, and I will say I really like the combat system, because it's really, really brutal, because even if you are able to do some damage to the creature, if you roll that 1. If you don't roll enough successes and you roll a 1, that's when like the really bad stuff starts happening to you. And I really like that aspect of the combat, because that means that like you just don't have a guy that's sitting there with his Uzi, just mowing down zombies left and right. He gets one roll where he doesn't get enough successes to beat something outright. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're poisoned, or oh, you've been knocked out, things like that. And so it makes combat really deadly, and it makes combat not a guarantee, even with the best of equipment. So there you go. So that's my take on Secrets of the Lost Tomb. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas about how to play, or the rules, or anything else you might have come up, by all means post that. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. I'm positive that the designer of the game will be more than happy to answer those questions as well. So, until next time, this was Undead Viking. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, you have an awesome day. Alright, goodbye now. Bye-bye.